Hi everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Today is the day that the Lord has made, and we will what? We will rejoice and be glad in it. Sis, come on, get yourself up. I'm so thankful to have you watching either now on the replay. Please like, share, comment, save. Whatever your heart's desire, I am here for it. So today I want to talk about something that has become a vital part of my life and goes hand in hand with creating a vision board. And we went through this on the last episode that was last week. So if you have not watched last week's episode, please go and check that out because this will be the second half to the first half. So I hope you have your coffee, tea, OJ, whatever you like to have in the morning. I'm still on my fast, so I'm not able to have my tea just yet, but I got me some water, so this will help. And take a drink now because, talking, it dries your mouth out. It really does. So, all right, back to what I was saying. So, creating the vision board. It goes hand in hand with this by choosing a word of the year. Yes. So let me start by saying this again. New Year's resolutions don't work. They don't hold any real value because they often lack purpose and strategy. But a word of the year, sis, that's different. It's a vibe, okay? It's personal. It's meaningful. It's something I pray about and ask God for every year, and it keeps me aligned with His plans for my life. So your word of the year isn't just a word you pick randomly. It's something that reflects what God is doing in your life and how He's shaping you. So today I'm going to share how choosing a word has impacted me in a positive way and how you can find yours and what my word of the year is for 2025. So the power of choosing a word. My word last year was sacrifice. And it carried me through one of the most challenging but rewarding seasons of my life. So you might ask, why sacrifice? Because I had to make I'm talking about significant sacrifices to bring my dreams to life. Finishing my book, going back to school, being a mom, working full-time, and creating content for this platform. Sacrifice meant giving up my time, energy, and money to prioritize what mattered most. And I had to constantly ask myself, by looking at my word, by making decisions, right? So my decisions had to be based off these two questions. Is this getting me closer to or further from my goals? For that day, for that week, that month, right? And then basically the bigger picture, the year. And my second question was, what am I willing to say no to today so I can say yes to God's plan for my life? It wasn't easy. There was so many times I wanted to say yes to things that were fun or even good, but they weren't part of God's plan for that season. And I learned the power of what I call positive no's, right? It's about saying no to things that aren't necessarily bad. They're not toxic or unhealthy, but you've got to say no to it so that you can say yes to your purpose. So an example was, I'm a part of different ministries. And just as I explained, I'm a mom, I work, I'm in school, I'm writing a book, I'm a one-woman team behind Words That Speak at this point. I'm praying that soon enough I'll have other people as a team on board. But as of right now, I'm a one-woman band, you know, and so there are examples. We have one of the ministries I'm a part of has brunch every second Saturday of the month. But Saturdays, my morning were, you know, I scheduled my me time, right? Like me getting my content done, my videos. I started having editors meetings on Saturday, my writing. And so I would block that time out, and there were Saturdays that went till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the brunch would be at 12:30, and it wasn't always near where I live. So to leave to get there on time, I would have had to start getting ready by like 11. I would have had to leave my house by 11:30 to make it to the brunch. It lasts to about 2, 3 o'clock. By the time I get back to my house, you're talking about 4. So that's about a few hours that I love doing to be with women of God, and commune with them and be in unity with them. But then I wouldn't get what I needed to get done for that week, or, you know, that day. So I had to do brunch not every month, maybe not every other month. There was times I only got to go quarterly. And, you know, once the year started progressing towards the end, there was a lot of things I was able to accomplish. So then I could go to them more frequently, but I had to say a positive no, right? So there's an example of maybe how I'm meaning when you're saying no to things that you want to say yes to, but you've got to clear yourself. You have to make room, right? That's the point of sacrifice. I'm making room for things that maybe I can't see yet, things that are not so tangible yet, but that I know that me and God have spoken about. And I know that I know that I know that this is what I need to be doing, right? And so how a word shapes your life. So my word of the year shaped my mindset, decisions, and actions. My mindset. I had to keep reminding myself that this was about a bigger vision, right? One that only me and God could see. Not everybody's going to see your vision or your mindset, you know, so you have to make sure that you stick within your boundaries, right? And you protect your mind with that, because most times no one's going to see it until it's there, okay? The decisions. I became very strategic about planning my time. I broke my goals into daily, weekly, and monthly priorities and asked, does this align with my vision? Does this align with sacrifice? What am I sacrificing to make room for? What do I need to sacrifice to get this done? Okay. And then actions. I had to learn to schedule time for what mattered most and to work when I was at my best. So my best is in the morning. And the best in the morning with my writing, with scheduling meetings, you know, for my book with my editors. I really like the morning time. Schoolwork, getting things done where I can put a couple days. Sometimes a whole Saturday would be like, I'm not leaving my house. I have to work on my content, work on the book, then, you know, take a break. And then the afternoon was for school, you know, do an hour, do 2 hours, take a break, go back to it, because it was a lot of schoolwork to get done. And as someone, I'm not used to learning online, I had to adapt to that. And to be able to adapt to it, I had to sacrifice things so that I could give myself room for mistakes, maybe, or maybe I got off work late and I couldn't get home on time. And so I didn't get that piece that I thought on Wednesday I would. So now Saturday is my makeup day, right? Because I kept my Sabbath, y'all. I kept my Sundays that I was not doing schoolwork. And so those are just things that I used, and I hope that those examples can help you. And y'all, it wasn't always easy, right? But I have a quote. Hold on. It says, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I know some of y'all have heard that. And so that right there was definitely how it was last year. I really had to remember you're sacrificing this for a bigger reason, okay? Your sacrifice is going to come back tenfold. It's going to multiply, okay? My God multiplies, all right? So I know what I'm sacrificing seems a lot to me right now, but he's able to do more with what I'm giving up than what I'm holding on to. That's a word for somebody. Y'all better be taking notes. All right, so I was faced with challenges, okay? So I want to talk about the challenges. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshines, you know? I felt isolated. I felt like I was the only one sacrificing, saying no, being alone. I felt overwhelmed at times, you know, trying to figure things out that I don't understand and not really having someone to call on or ask for unless you're paying them, you know, and I don't have the money to pay them. So I got overwhelmed a lot with, especially with social media and doing all of that. I was a lot. I felt rejected. You know, I had some moments where I thought, oh, this is it. This is the person. And then it fell through. And then it wasn't. You know, it wasn't what I expected. I felt like I was late. There was many times that I started thinking, man, who's going back to school at this age? Who's trying to create content? Like, who are you? All those voices in my head, they didn't shush. They actually got louder. The more I was sacrificing, the more the words in my head, those voices that we all hear, got louder. And I had to learn how to like, no, I have to stay here. And that's where the vision board came in, right? Looking at the vision board. What did I say in the beginning of the year? Sticking to my word. Sticking to my word. And what do I have to do to get there? I've got to sacrifice. And it kept bringing me back into God's perspective. This is what God told me. This is what I need to do. It reminded me of the person I want to become. It's so important, y'all, because who I am right now recording this, I'm not going to be her at the end of the year. I want to be leveled up. I want to grow more. So I want to become. So in that sacrifice, I was becoming the woman that I want to become, right? I'm closer to her. I'm closer to that woman I envision myself to be than I was a few years ago. Why? Because I have this, it's not just the vision board and the word. It's more than that. There's a power and authority to it. It's personable, it's meaningful, and it elevates you. It keeps you accountable. Your future self is talking to you in the beginning of the year so that your present self, goes through the year looking at this future. Looking at, okay, this is what I got to do. So, questions to find your word of the year. You can ask, what has God been teaching me lately? What do I need to focus on in this season of my life? What habits, mindsets, or behaviors do I need to let go of? And what word keeps coming to mind when I pray? Definitely pray about it, okay? This isn't a random word, like I said in the beginning. Reflect on it and trust that God will reveal the word he wants you to focus on. The Bible says in Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Your word should reflect that submission to God's will. Okay, that was another thing I was asked, like, what was a challenge for 2024? And at the moment I couldn't express it, but it was my own understanding. My sacrifice was my own understanding. There was things that I thought, oh yeah, I can sacrifice that, but God asked me to go that much more. And it was like, I don't know, what? Did I hear you right, God? And now I can see it's because I had to give up my own understanding of what sacrifice was. Yes, I was right in a couple things, but God had a different plan with the word sacrifice. So my word of the year this year is surrender. I came across this quote and it hit me so hard. The longer you entertain what is not from God, the longer you postpone what is. God can do more with your surrender than he can with your control. Yeah, it hit deep inside, man. It hit deep inside. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in my final class before applying for nursing school. My book is about to be released. And while I have so many hopes and dreams, I know I can't hold on to control. Surrender means letting go of my plans, my timeline, and even my comfort so I can fully trust in God. Especially with this book, because it is very vulnerable. I am expressing things that most people don't know about me, that the world will be able to know about me. And I'm having to surrender my obedience. Like, there's certain things I don't want, but I know that God is saying you need to. It's not about you. And so surrendering that it's not about me, surrendering. There's so much to it, and I haven't got it all yet because I'm still working on it and praying and fasting and reflecting and praying and working on my vision board. But it's big. The word is big for me this year. It will look like letting go of certain habits and mindsets. It's about reaching the end of myself so I can step into the beginning of what God has for me. And it's going to be something. I know this year is going to be a harvestful year from seeds planted a few years ago. I feel it. I know it. And so here are some practical tips for your word of the year. Once you've chosen your word, put it somewhere where you can see it every day. Add it to your vision board, write it in your journal, or set it on your phone's wallpaper, your desktop, your iPads. We're constantly on those things. Put it there. Let it serve as a reminder of a person God is calling you to become. And also keep this in mind. Your word of the year isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Some days will be hard, and that's okay. Keep going. Keep coming back to God and let him guide you through the challenges. So your word of the year can be a powerful tool to keep you aligned with God's plans and focus on your purpose. So I challenge you to pray and ask God for your word. Ask him, Lord, give me my word. Let me get my word. I need my word. And let it be a reflection of his work in your life and a source of encouragement throughout the year. So thank you for spending time with me today. I can't wait to hear about your words God gives you and the impact they will have on your life in the year of 2025 and those to come. So until next time, I hope this has helped one mind, one body, one soul, one mind, and one spirit. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Her Divine Journey. Bye.